But anyway, yeah, that could have gone better. His position was better. He's got Colossus. They do 23 damage, and they attack twice with that. So essentially, they're doing 46 damage per hit. And if you notice, when they're attacking something, they attack basically like the left side of it and the right side of it, and they move both lasers inwards. So really, it's very good for harassing like light units, like probes or whatnot, or marines, or a lot of the Zerg units. It's very effective against Zerg, but it's hard to get Colossus versus Zerg realistically if the Zerg is playing well. But yeah, it owns a lot of units that are in a line or all bunched up together. So yeah, it's pretty good. I've got myself a fair few Immortals now. I'll switch to Stalkers instead of Zealots, because Zealots are light, so they get hurt a bit more by the Colossus string. But to be quite frank, you can see the Colossus is just destroying everything I got pretty much. The only thing that can really beat Colossus at the moment is Immortals, which is why I went for 2 robotics facilities, an extra couple of robotic facilities once I saw the Colossus. But unfortunately, it wasn't close, or it wasn't soon enough. So yeah, this is a real even fight at the moment. I'm just begging to stay alive, trying to warp gate in whenever it's available to this, and try and keep my sort of I don't know what you would call it actually. It's not an expand, it's like a mini base, an outpost I suppose. Keep my outpost alive. Let's call it outpost, shall we? Yeah, that's the name for it, that's the term. So my little outpost is getting wailed on at the moment. There's not much I can do about it. Those Colossus are just ripping up a lot of my units at the moment. I haven't faced Colossus enough to truly know what to do against them. The only thing I do know really is just Immortals, since they will do 50 damage per hit against Colossus. But even saying that, looking at Colossus, that's 350 health. So that's basically 7 times I would have to hit it with an Immortal to kill it. And as you can see, they do pretty insane damage. So each one that he's got, I've got to hit 7 times with an Immortal, and I've got to survive whilst I'm trying to hit 7 times. So really, when you put that into perspective, it's not going to work too well unless I've got an overwhelming army or a decent amount of Immortals. So far I've only had like a few at a time to deal with those Colossus, so I can't bring them down quick enough to make him feel like he's threatened, to make him feel like, oh, I've got to run away, and that way I can get some free hits on his Colossus while they're running away. Here he goes into the cliffs, which is a really good idea. He did it earlier, I don't think I showed it, but if he goes on the cliffs, simply get a unit by the Naga tower if you can, if he's not already holding it, which will allow you to basically see all units, observe all units, which means you can also see the units on top of the cliff, which means you can hit them, which is the most important thing, because if he goes in the cliff, and I haven't got that Naga tower, nor have I got an observer or a flying unit, he will be able to hit me. I can see his units up there, but I can't attack them, unless, for example, like I say, you have the Naga tower or a flying unit that is readily available to see that unit up on the cliff. So at this point he goes for what looks like an expand, since he's got the probe there, and he's taking down the destructible rocks. So yeah, he's managed to hold me off, and that's really paid off for him, because he's only got like 5 minerals left in that. It'd take 1 probe to finish off all of his minerals. I left a couple of sellers in his base, since I thought, well, I'm not getting anywhere, so I thought I'd try and damage his economy a bit, but it wasn't good enough. There wasn't enough sellers left. So you can see I've now run out of this, so whilst he's got himself that secured expansion by the looks of it, I mean, he's basically secured the expansion because he won the fight against me, the little battle that we had over here, so that means that I'm having to rebuild my forces before I can take him again. So at this point, I'm thinking, right, well, what I was building before, the few Immortals that I could get versus the mass Colossus he had, was not working. So I've got to switch my tactics. So I go for Void Rays here, which is technically a very good unit. Sort of, anyway. I'm finding it hard to actually use them well against good players. But anyway, as you can see, they're being very effective. They do more and more damage the longer they stay on a target. And since Immortals and Colossus have a lot of HP, that means that they're going to stay on them for a long time, which means they're going to do way more damage. So really, Void Rays, sorry, are actually possibly like the best units you can really get against Immortals and Void Colossus. So yeah, that went well for me. I thought, okay, I can pull this back. I haven't got my expansion, I've got nothing here, but let's go all out, because I've got my Void Rays, and he's going to have to now start massing gateways and getting stalkers. I know he's going to be trying to start making counters to it. So it's all or nothing now. if it wasn't for the fact that he had that expansion still giving him the minerals for the stalkers, I might be able to overwhelm him with the void rays, but unfortunately as time goes on he's going to be able to keep those stalkers coming because of that expansion. I can overwhelm the stalkers at the moment, but once those few extra gateways go up, there's going to be 5 stalkers coming out at a time. Now those stalkers will soon beat the void rays once he gets like an even amount, or enough of them, more than them I'm saying. But the stalkers can easily be microed. The void rays are very slow and clunky. Whilst they are air, you can move them quite freely. They're still slow. It doesn't pay off. So he's trying to drag me away because he thinks, well, these units can't hit my air, so you may as well go for my base. But I'm not going to completely fall for that. I'm going to leave a few void rays back, doing the right thing here, really, and deciding to take out what I can in his base, try and take out his expansion. I thought this was his only expansion at the time. I honestly did not scout that. I should have kept the scouting going. I've actually gone for an expansion up here, so it's not completely over for me yet. If I can win this battle here, or hold him off long enough that I can get all my probes on that expansion and keep building again, then I can do this. So all of these units have now been killed by the 4 void rays that I left to destroy. Really, I probably should have left a couple on them, and actually left like 5 void rays here in retrospect, but obviously as the game is going, the action is packed, and you make mistakes because it gets chaotic. And obviously I need a lot more experience because I haven't used void rays often. If you've seen it in my replays, you will know that I've barely used them. And the games where I don't put replays up, I don't often use void rays either because I've yet to find a really good use for them. It just felt like using them against Colossus and Mortals would be very effective. Here's an actual fact for you. I was considering getting the actual, here I see his expansion. I think, oh great, I didn't know that. Oh dear, this is not looking good now. But I will talk to you a bit actually about the Stargate, because you get void rays here, they're quite expensive, 200 minerals and 150 Thespian gas. What I could have done is got Phoenixes, which are slightly cheaper, but they're still pretty expensive considering they're anti-air. But I wasn't actually going to use them for anti-air, I was actually going to use them against Colossus, because a lot of people don't realise this, but air units, even air-to-air units, ones that only attack air, can actually hit Colossus because they're technically so tall. It's something that Blizzard have designed, so Colossus can still be attacked by air-to-air units like Phoenixes or Vikings or Corruptors on the Zerg side. So if you're up against Colossus, you can actually get the light units that are actually cheaper and still do damage to them. In fact, possibly do better damage to them than you would be able to do with Void Ray, although I'd argue because Void Rays are very good against high HP, so I don't really think I made a mistake going them. Maybe could have got a couple of Phoenixes to start with, but I don't know. My opponent played very well this game. I thought I played very well myself, but clearly I made a few mistakes. Scouting was one. Not focusing on what he was doing, such as getting the observer to start with. The very first thing you should build is an observer. See, if I saw the free robotics facilities, I could have probably turned this game around and probably won it, to be honest. But no, I didn't. So I paid the price for that. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was a good game. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, rate and comment. This has been Witty signing off.